The most shocking part of the evening was the utter calm of the countless multitudes that flooded the crowded city. Sure, New Yorkers have seen almost everything, but I was not aware that almost actually included a 30-foot, fire-breathing flying lizard. I bumped into a well-dressed man in a suit and jacket carrying a leather briefcase, who stepped back into a puddle, earning myself a brusque, "Watch your fucking step!" followed by a muttered, "Asshole." I thought about pulling out my heavily modified P90 I kept under my jacket, but I was already half a block away. Besides, I was only licensed to kill highly modified genetic organisms, and caffeine-laced DNA didn't quite meet that bar. Meanwhile, my prey continued its uneven flight uptown. Technically, it was not a dragon in the biblical sense, but a heavily edited Komodo dragon. Sometimes I really wondered what those guys at Los Alamos were actually trying to achieve. Of course, the military had promised some national defense application, but had been vague on the details, and I suspected that a well-worded grant from a bored scientist had more to do with my prey's existence than any actual well-thought defense purpose. Still, I guess every program has its growing pains. But at least Australia seemed to have learned its lesson after the platypus incident. I'd laughed when my handler said I was being deployed covertly on a mission in New York City. I've done city work before, but usually for smaller collections. Rats were preferred research target so of course I'd spent more time under the Big Apple than in it. How I thought I was going to hide the fact a fucking dragon was flying around above the city of 10 million people. The point turned out to be moot. No New Yorker even looked up. They never even saw the dragon. Sure, the tourists would stand in corners and point up, but this did not attract the attention of locals any more than it ever had. The tourists themselves seemed to assume that if everyone else was okay with a hovering green beast, it must be a normal city thing. I saw it come in for a landing near Central Park, and I quickened my pace, figuring that the shit was about to hit the fan. I found my dragon lying stretched alongside the cobblestone walls that surrounded the park, just a few tens of feet from the Met. The cries of terror I expected were not audible. Instead, I heard cheers and applause coming from the circle of people who had surrounded the dragon. In front of him, within the circle formed by the crowd, was a knocked-over kebab cart, and he was lapping up small balls of meat with a flick of his tongue. The owner was nowhere to be seen, but people were throwing small denomination bills and coins to the overturned cart as they applauded. Sighing, I called my handler on the secure line in my headset. "I'm gonna need some backup for crowd control." Then, after a second of thought, where I considered how poorly suited their camo was going to be in this crazed city, "Dress them up as clowns. Or zombies. Or both." This has been a short story for the prompt, "You hunt exotic animals that have escaped. After a series of some unfortunate events, you are now hunting a dragon through New York City." The prompt was by Sock Puppet O. The story was by Martheus. You can find links to the writer of the story, and the provider of the prompt, and the story itself down in the description below. Thank you all so much for joining me. It's been a while since I last did one of these, and this one happened to pique my interest for wanting to do this again. This is a funny little one that I really liked. Hopefully, the next time I do one of these, it'll be one of my own personal writings. Something that I have written myself and can share with the world. But otherwise, that's going to be it for this one. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you enjoyed the story. Please check out the writers of the prompt and the actual story. They are awesome people for letting me be able to do this. I always ask the writer of the story and the writer of the prompt if I can do this. And again, these two said that I could. I thank them so much for letting me do this, because this was a good one. I will see you later. I hope you have a fantastic day. And I think I should probably get a little more coffee.